Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy New Year. This is my first video for this year and I'm so happy. I did not think I'll be happy filming my first video for the year, but my sister got me a new stand. I have a new phone stand. Like, I have a phone stand. What am I saying? I have a new phone stand like I had before. I have been stacking things upon things to produce videos, but now, hey, 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 hey. And because of that, new status and new introduction. My name is Erica Numberi. I am a YouTuber based in Port Harcourt. I'm happily married and I have 2 children. If this is your first time seeing me, please do well to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Leave a comment, give my videos thumbs up, and share. Please do well for a sister. Do well for a sister. Why people not subscribing, by the way? Don't subscribe and you'll be telling me don't look at the numbers. Don't look at the numbers. My dear, I'm just beginning. I'm just starting. So it is inevitable that I will not look at the numbers. Or what am I supposed to say? It is inevitable that I will have to look at the numbers. Anyone that is correct, my dear, that is the correct thing. If the first one was correct in your head, that's correct. If the second one was correct in your head, that's correct. You know? Are you getting me? So please subscribe. Subscribe. Let me go down into the gist for today. Usually, I'm not like super excited about the new year since 2019. Yes. So I got sad, got unhappy because in 2019 I made so many plans like for the year, and it was hinged on my dad. Like, two of us, we sat down, we made plans and stuff like that. So when I lost my dad so early in the year, like in February, I was all shades of disappointed, depressed, and so many things. And I don't think people noticed that I had some form of depression because I did not really cry to the world, like outward tears where people will see me shedding tears, crying, rolling on the floor when my dad died. But it did a good one on me. Like, it had something deep. It did me something. Let me just leave it there. It did something to me. And I did not think it was something I could say at the moment was the reason why. I just discovered that in 2020, I could not celebrate the new year like that. Yes, I got married in 2020. I got married early 2020. I got married in March 2020. In fact, the first week of March. And that was like shortly after the remembrance of my dad's death. We did Thanksgiving and all. I know I got married around that period, but it was all tears. Like, I was supposed to get married in 2019. That was part of the plans that we made. I was supposed to get married in 2019. And when my dad died, we pushed it. And now I was getting married in March 2020. So, like, mixed feelings. I was not just into it. Like, in fact, the 31st night of 2019, it was not fun for me because I knew that was the night that if my dad were to be alive, we would be arranging to go to church, to go and shout, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And my dad was like in for things like that. So it did not work out like that. So I just discovered, I noticed that it wasn't all fun for me anymore getting into the New Year's. In fact, at a point, I think in 2018 December, 31st night, we lost somebody in our choir. I think so. We lost somebody in our choir, and I was like, God, like, this person thought this person had already entered the New Year's. Like, what's going on? Because I discovered that I'd gotten to the point where, yeah, people my age were going, because he was not old, he was around my age. People my age were going and stuff like that. So it actually affected my feelings for the New Year's. Now, what I was like, where I'm driving at was that entering this year, I discovered something that I did last year that I did not do in 2020 because of how things were, or in 2021, things that I did last year that I did not do in the previous year or the previous years after 2019. And what was that? I am a girl that's like, or I'm a lady, or I used to be a girl that writes down her plans, that um, made plans. Like I used to really dream big and stuff like that. And what aided this mindset was my dad being around. Like my father can just dream something that even you'll be like, Oga, cool down now. What's going on? What's going on here? Cool down. Like, why is that plan entering your head? Like, what's going on here? So anytime I see those things that he dreamt about coming to actualization or manifesting, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can do this. So I saw myself, I dream big, like my dream is large. In my father's house, they say there are many mansions there. That is how my dream is, like many mansions, you know. So I used to really like dream big. Then I lost my dad. I told somebody, or I think when I was in church, that was the year that what they told Job to do, I would have done it. I would have cursed God and died. Like what? God, why did you do this to me? Like my heart was broken. Like why did this happen? And the beginning of the year, like around the period when we were making, like when we made our plans and stuff like that. So it was just a pain for me. So I cancelled all my plans because how I want carry achieve am now. Like that was my the question I asked myself, like how I want carry achieve am. I was like, okay, since God, this is what you want, but I should not make plans. I should sit down and watch. But after my achievement of last year, in as much as I'm not where I would have loved to be. I'm not where I used to be. Like I've moved past where I used to be. So seeing the little steps, the little achievements that I was able to attain last year, I noticed it had a lot to do with the plans that I made. So imagine me making plans for 2020 and making plans for 2021. I saw myself the beginning of this year, like we are saying the beginning, Shabbat. I saw myself asking these questions. I saw myself like, just imagine if I had made plans for 20, the only plan I had for 2021 was my marriage, man. Because in June, July 2020, in June, the ending of June 2020, I got a job. So a job was no longer a longing. In fact, it was an answered prayer. Because at that point, I lost my dad and we needed something. I cannot just be holding on to my mom and stuff like that. So we needed a job, or I needed a job at that time. And a job came for me. So a job was no longer in my plans. So the only plan I had for 2020 was to get married. And that plan went as, in quotes, as planned, because most of the things that I did, I wrote it down years before, 2 years before the marriage or something like that. I had already made plans for how the marriage or the day I will get married, how it's going to be. So that was not the plan I made for in 2020. But in 2020, my dears, apart from that marriage, my dear Liva, I did not make any plans. I did not make any plans. So I got married in 2020 March, and I was just looking at myself. I'll go to work, come back, go to work, come back, go to work, come back. Go to work in the morning, come back late at night, sometimes in the evenings. And that was how my life was just going. My life was just going. Nothing. Yeah, I sew, but it was not even something for me. I was sewing when it was convenient for me. I was making outfits when it was convenient for me. Like when I want to wear something, I just sit down on my machine and start matching it and start sewing. And I got pregnant early, so even that became a hassle for me. Like it became hard work for me. So I did not really make plans. Moving into 2020, like 2021, I lost my job in 2020, December, when everybody was celebrating. I was there losing my job, you know. So already the stay back or the lay back mindset, the forget about it, what will be. Or after all the plans that you made in 2020, 2019, what came out of it? You lost your dad, man, everything went to start to school and stuff like that, you know. So I'm like, I didn't even make plans. I was thinking, oh my God, I just became a mother. And I was thinking to myself, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to do this? In fact, during the Omugwo time, I stayed with my mom. So I did not really feel it. I remember coming back. I remember coming back home and I held my son. No, okay, I laid him on the bed and I saw myself crying. Because, okay, how far? I did not make plans for this. Like, how far? Yeah, I'm among the people that marry 25, get first child at 20, 26, or still at 25, depending on when I got married. But I did not marry 25, so yes, I was still expecting to have a child in like that same year, like conceive that same year, kind of thing, take in that same year, anyone. So I was still, but I did not really prepare. I did not, even when I prayed about having a child, like when I prayed about my child or prayed about sustenance or whatever, I would just praying it laid back, man. God, whatever I want to do, just do it. After all, in 2019, after all my prayers, it did come to pass and stuff like that. But I discovered that God was always there for me. So at this point, I want to say, if you're not yet, like, you're not yet there with God, where you have not recognized that what is going on in your life, the help that you have been getting is as a result of his help, there's no problem. The Bible says that even as we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So if you are there, there's no problem. God still loves you. But you have to go, Sha. But God still loves you. So, like I was saying, I did not really like make plans. But in 2022, the beginning of the year, I told myself, I just discovered that, man, I've been on this mountain for too long. I've been on this mountain for too long. Like, where's my breakthrough? I just remembered a song by our choir. Hold on, be strong, for there's no time with God. He will come through. Hold on, I can see my breakthrough come. Hold on, dark night's gonna pass away. Hold on, yeah. So that's year 2022, February to be precise. I saw myself telling God, no, I can't continue like this. I can't continue like this. Like, have a child. Like this, I'm about had children. Okay, in 2020, I got married, I got pregnant, I gave birth in December. Okay, by this time I was not pregnant for my second child. So I was like, I have a child. Like, how will this child come? What will this child chop, Sha? The country is getting harder and harder. Things are getting worse and worse. So I told God, like, you have to. My landlord was on one side doing some sime things. And I was like, God, it can't be. So for the first time, intentionally, I joined the Hallelujah Challenge, because sometimes when you want to do something, you have to join a community. Like, okay, when I want to be serious with my weight loss journey, I find an accountability partner so that we talk to ourselves, somebody I'm accountable to, someone that checks up on me and stuff like that. So at that point, I was like, God, you just have to do something for me. So I joined the Hallelujah Challenge. And one of the things that we were told to do was, or one of the major things that we were told to do was to write down our requests and stuff like that. So I wrote down my requests, but that was my plan. It's the way I pray. Sometimes my husband used to laugh about it, but it's the way I pray. I used to pray like God is in front of me. I used to pray like God is my paddy. Like, I used to pray like I'm talking to you now. Sometimes that's how my prayer is. So I just wrote down the things that were important to me at the beginning of 2022. One of it, which in due time, I'm going to share this testimony, like, in total. I don't know if that's a word, but in depth. I'm going to share it. Was moving out of that rented space and having a place that we would not pay again. And this was like a dream for me right before I got married. But like I said, things happen, like life happened to me. And for me, I just left it. I just left that. I just left it. But in 2022, I'm like, God, we have to move. Oh. We have to move. In fact, my husband and I, we did not see how it was going to be possible. I told my husband, in June, we are living here. In fact, we are not paying our rent for the year complete. We are paying for 6 months. If God now decides to shame us, no problem. We'll look for the remaining half. But God no go shame us. The blessings go loud. You go worry the neighbors. Have you heard that song by Prince Emmanuel? Check it out, Sha. But God did not shame me. Like, God did not shame us. Currently, we are in our own space. I'm not paying rent. Like now, as I've entered this new year, I'm not thinking, oh my God, yes, my house is not furnished. It's not yet in its permanent site. But I'm not, hey, I was not able to save last month towards rent. Hey, I'm not doing that. Like, God answered that prayer. And entering this year, I was like, you have to write it down. Make it plain, according to what the Bible says. Make it plain. Look, dream big and make it plain. And I believe this year is going to be better for me, better for you. So just write it down. The whole story, this whole bobotikbo, is so that you write it down. I wrote it down. And God came through. Because when you write it down, that's what you'll be praying about. That's what you'll be asking God about. That's where your mind will be at. It will no longer be. I'm not like, sometimes when people do write down, I'm like, people are too over. But I wrote it down. And the manifestations are there. You can say I'm funerarian, but that was part of what I wrote down last year, year before last. I've written down Fune in my resolution tire. In fact, I've written it down. Sote, the resolution is tired of Fune. I like every year, I tell myself, I'm going to Fune this year. And I discover that March, April, May, Fune have gone to be with the Lord. I can't Fune, I don't Fune, I don't know. But I've written it down again this year that I will Fune, I will no longer be loud. I don't know how that one is going to be possible. It has become my person. But I shall write down these things from time to time. So, as a conclusion, to end this video, please write down your plans for 2023. It may not come as you want it to come. Everything that you have written down may not be actualized, but it's good that you see them. So that even if it happens 10 years from now, it happens 15 years from now, it happens 5 years from now, it happens 2 years from now, you would know that you wrote it down. Remember God's promises to Abraham. Yes, it's Abraham and Sarah that had Isaac, God's promises to them. It was not actualized that year. It was not even actualized the next year. So, even in your waiting period, you have written down your plans. You wrote down plans from last year. It has not yet been actualized. In fact, I have plans that are carried over to this year. So write it down. Make it plain. Walk towards it. Faith without what they say is dead. Walk towards your plans. Holding God strong. He will come through. Like, hold on. Be strong. There's no time with God. He will come through for you. So this is my first video. Going the way I did not think it was going to go. And I'm happy for the way it's ending. Hold on to God. This year is going to be loud. Like, it's going to be loud. Before I cut, let me just tell you people, I'll be producing videos. I'll be making videos, whatever the term is. Like, share, subscribe to this channel. Watch this space. Baby girl is about to. This stand cannot be erased now. What do people mean now? What are people saying? What are people not saying? This stand cannot just go into the mud. It must be used to actualize what it was bought for. So hold on for me this year. This year is going to be loud. Like, watch this space. God, share, you are hearing this prayer. This year better be loud though, so that these people will not come back and be asking me questions. It's going to be loud. It is going to be loud. This year is going to be loud. Like, this is the year my father waited for. This is the year my father spoke so well about. So I can't wait to see what this year holds. Like, this is the year. It's that time of the year. So, my dear, just relax. God's got you. Ciao. I love you. See you in my next video. Coming soon, hopefully. Bye-bye.